Welcome back, friends, to the shop. In today's video I'm going to share with you how to sharpen, or my favorite way to sharpen, kitchen knives, kitchen cutlery. I was laying out Mrs. W's stuff here and I was going to kind of bring you along for it, and I noticed that one of her knives, this little Victorinox paring knife, has a real severe bend in the tip. I learned years ago, a trick on how to fix this from about a 90-year-old Japanese bladesmith. It was so simple that you can do yourself. So before we get into the knife sharpening, I'll show you how to straighten these and build yourself a little jig where you can do it safely hopefully without breaking the tip. Before we get to straightening the tip, I wanted to show you what we're dealing with here. So this is a little Victorinox paring knife. I think pound for pound, as far as kitchen cutlery, you just can't beat it. What I've noticed is over the years, as we've kind of gone through knives, they've been lost or broken as I replace them. This is about the only thing I buy anymore. This is my personal one here. I just love this little shape here. I'll put an Amazon link down in the description of my 3 favorite ones. We have a blue-handled bread knife that is really, really nice, but they're affordable, easy to sharpen, very well designed. It just can't beat. You can't beat Victorinox for value. But there you can see that. So before we do anything with them, you want to make sure that they're warmed up. Don't try to do this on a cold knife. Now, you don't have to put heat on it or make it red hot or anything, but take it over, put it in the oven for 120, 130 degrees, or by your wood stove for a bit. Just get a little bit of heat in it, and then we'll get started. We'll let this blade warm up by the stove there, and then we'll go build our jig. To build your straightening jig, you're just going to need a chunk of wood and handsaw, the thinnest blade that you have. Unless you have a thick blade, then you can go a little bit thicker. Now, a hardwood obviously is best. If you have it, hickory, oak, maple, cherry. I'm going to use Douglas fir because that's just the way we roll out here in the Pacific Northwest. And we're going to cut a small kerf in the wood. Chalk it up in your vise, and we're going to work and straighten right here. Yeah, it's good and warm there. I think it's ready. We're going to use the kerf here to very gently, very slowly start to work that bend out of it. Now make sure that the knife is warm and don't go too fast, and start back a little bit and just slowly start working that out. If you go too fast, if you overspring it, it will break, especially if it's cold. And this will work on any size knife, and I've never broke a tip using this method. This one's pretty extreme, the bend in it. We got the bend pretty much out of the body of it there. Now the tricky part is the tip. It's always the most fragile. And just work it. Don't be impatient. And that's definitely looking better. Now that tip is bent over so severely that with that wide kerf in there, I don't know I'm going to be able to get it, especially using a softwood. If I had a hardwood, it wouldn't be so bad. I'm going to take an even finer saw. This is my thinnest saw. See how thin that kerf is there? And do that. That's going to give me a lot more control on that bent tip. I think that looks pretty good, guys. I think we got it. Much, much better. All right, let's go over to the stone and we'll rehab the tip there. It's a little bit blunted. If you do happen to break the tip off or it's just blunted, the best way I found to kind of rehab those is on a stone. Any whetstone that you have is fine. These are diamond stones, but I'll typically do that off the spine. Just work that down until you reestablish that tip. It should be cat claw sticky sharp. That's when you know you've got it. If you kind of lower as you push, it'll maintain that that nice sweep on the back right there. And that is good right there. All right, we're ready to put an edge on it. So let's we'll head over to the grinder and get it set up. I've used a lot of different knife sharpeners over the years, probably more than most guys. My favorite one I keep going back to is the Work Sharp. You know, it's basically a professional homeowner version of a big belt sander, like, you know, your knife guys, you know, your pro companies, or, you know, Gerber or Benchmade. When they sharpen their knives that go out, they basically have a big commercial industrial version of this, but these are more affordable. Just pretty simple. It's just a small electric motor, adjustable angle, and then you have various media here from coarse to super fine. You can sharpen lots of different things on there. I've been even sharpening hatchets and small tools on it. But your kitchen knives, they want to be a little bit more of a shallow angle. You can see that 25 degrees right there. That's where you want for your kitchen knives. For my EDC knives, I'll typically go a little bit sharper, 30. Makes a little bit more of a utility edge that seems to last a little bit longer, but somewhere 25 in there is pretty good for your kitchen knives. So once you get that established, now that just changes the angle right here, and you have kind of a starting point, this little flat bench that helps you kind of orient it. And we'll turn it on, and we're going to go up, transfer that over, and we're going to go from side to side like that. We'll just hit the coarse a couple times, and then medium, fine, super fine, and we'll have a professional edge on it, really, really sharp. On these little knives, really that's all that you need to do is just a single pass like that, especially if you have a coarse on there. I just keep everything kind of in order here. I also go for coarse, and I'll go to my medium. These are really easy to change. It's just a simple, really simple, clever little tool. This idler here just locks back, and you turn that, and it'll kind of self-center. Once I make a couple passes on that medium, then just put your super fine on. I think I even usually just skip the fine and just go with the super fine belt. The belts last quite a while too if you don't overheat them and don't push them too hard. I know I loaned this to, I got some new belts here. I loaned this to my friend Jeff, you know, the real Martian. He sharpened all of Alicia's knives. He liked it so well he bought one himself after using it, but he replaced all the belts, which is nice of him. And this is our final pass on the Superfine. And of course, no knife sharpening video is complete without a sharpening test. So, but if you can take paper and you can split it with your knife, meaning that you can, without cutting through it, you can shave paper off of it. Like, you know, that's on a push cut, that's a pretty sharp knife right there, wouldn't you say? You can split this. This is granted or granted this is heavy paper, but that's a sharp knife. Your wife will be happy. Just make sure you warn her if you haven't sharpened your knives for a while, because you get used to dull knives. But that's what you can do, you know. And this thing had been in the dishwasher. I mean, you know how you try to take care of them, they just get beat up. That's the reality of life. This thing was, you couldn't hardly cut butter with it. And then what did we have? 8 passes on that, and with no skill at all, really. I mean, anyone can do it. You can sharpen all your knives like that. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Well, friends, I'm going to get back to sharpening the rest of these up. That's probably about all the time we have for today. Just a quick note on some things I've got coming up that I wanted to address. A lot of folks, a lot of guys specifically, have been asking me about if we could do a video on update on alcohol, you know, and the consumption of alcohol. A lot of guys, I've been hearing and been sending me a lot of PMs and emails. A lot of guys have kind of really been struggling with that because of COVID, being kind of locked up and nothing going on in winter, have gotten to the point where they're drinking more than they're comfortable with. And I have, that's something I think we need to talk about, and maybe something that we can help each other out with together. I've been thinking on that and praying about that the last couple days, and trying to come up with a way that we can get on top of that, right? Because that's not something that, that's not a place you want to go, especially if you have a family. So what else was there? I can't remember. Something else I wanted to talk about. I guess that'll do it for now. Thanks for watching. May God bless you and your families. Please keep our families in your prayers. If you don't mind taking a moment and clicking the thumbs up if you enjoy these videos. Let me know in the comment section if you'd be interested in that topic. Also, I know what it was. It was very interesting. I heard from one of my subscribers, who is kind of a beginner homesteader, him and his wife, who lived through that cold snap through Texas, and really sent me an interesting kind of a summary on what it was like for them, what they had done right and what they had done wrong, and some really important lessons learned from that that I hadn't considered. Kind of an after-action report. When we're on wildland fires, at the end of each day, when you're on initial attack, and there's always things that go right, things that go wrong. If you have a good leader, at the end of the day, you'll get all of the crews around and you'll talk about that, kind of in a big circle, and what went well today and what didn't go well, and how could we do better? How could we not repeat mistakes? And that's really valuable. I mean, you can plan the best you can and put your emergency kits together and all that, but until you're actually in it, it's hard to know, right? Just one example things that I had considered is that this individual had kerosene or paraffin for like the DEET style lamps, and it gelled up because it was so cold. That stuff has to be kept warm. You know, I keep mine out in the cold too. I never even considered that. So that was just one of many things that that he really struggled with. So let me know again if that's something you'd be interested in. I think it would be worthy just to go over his list and talk about that in a video next day or two. So thanks for watching. Keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.